Arte. I want you to start with talking about Arte.
Sure. I started Arte after taking a couple of courses in abstract art and figurative art. I'd sort of done classes at school, which was much more traditional, but after taking these courses, the abstract part really spoke to me. It was also during a time where I was recovering from Hodgkin's lymphoma. It's a type of blood cancer. So it was really, really, truly a way that I used it like as art therapy. You know, before that I really thought, oh, you know, art therapy, it's a great thing for other people. But when I started to use art for my own therapy, I realized how powerful it is.
Yeah.
And yeah, so just I started doing different exercises and different ways of doing abstract art through the course. And during that time, I really wanted to create a gift or make something for my friends who helped me through the really tough times when I had cancer. And I was a photographer, but at the time, you know, picking up my camera was a bit what's the word? It wasn't so relaxing. So I decided to try and paint something for them. And between doing the abstract course and wanting to do this for them, I just started painting what I felt inside. Like, it sounds kind of weird, silly almost, like, oh, I painted what was inside, but it's true. As soon as sort of the paintbrush hit the paper, they really came into the forefront of my mind. And so I didn't find it difficult. You know, sometimes when you think, oh, what would you start painting if it's abstract? For me, how Arte started was that feeling of thankfulness, the feeling of joy and love that I felt for these women as I was in my recovery period.
I think that's so beautiful. That's why I'm a big fan of Arte. I like that a lot. And how do you describe abstract art? What would you define it as? Do you have like words that define abstract?
Oh, it's so difficult. I mean, the art that I do for Arte is it's very specific. It's really about my connections with these women, with the people that supported me and showed me their love. And so I guess my abstract or Arte abstract art is really about the visual, I call it my visual thank yous to these people. So it's just my feelings and my memories and my connections of them on paper or on the canvas.
And how do you feel when you're creating these paintings?
Well, it's amazing. It's just it's a release, isn't it? You know, hear artists saying, oh, you know, it's emotions from inside coming out. But for me, it's definitely, it's always relaxing. It's always from a place of joy, no stress. I tried to do some more work during when COVID started, and it was quite difficult because actually, you know, the art that I do under Arte is really from a place of joy. So having that stress, I realized, wow, it's really connected to that. I can't force it. So yes, it's really about being in a place of calm and quiet, and then thinking about the person or the people.
And we talked a little bit about how in photography you had to provide the client with a certain service they were asking for artistically, but with your painting, you're creating for yourself. Can you talk about the difference between the two a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I love photography because it's very, it's your vision from the inside coming out. So how you photograph, you know, for a portraiture, or how you photograph a scene, everything you're making is from what you're feeling inside for that person or that client. Whereas with art, with Arte art in particular, I feel like it's not just something that's inside coming out, it's more of a reflection of what I'm taking in. It's, you know, I think we talked about the fact that, you know, even though each series is usually around a person or a group of people, I'm not making the art for them, it's about them. So, you know, sometimes it's difficult because I know that particular person, she loves a certain color or she loves a certain colorway, but really it's not for her, it's about her. So, you know, it's that sort of change in thinking, so, which is what I really enjoy, actually.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the best part, is being able to define, you know, the colors of your friends.
Yeah.
Even if they have the favorite color is green, but you get to decide in a way like how you feel, what their colors, their aura.
Yes, exactly.
And has Paris inspired your work at all, or you just kind of landed here and was like, I'm going to start painting, obviously because of cancer too, you needed to find an outlet, but did Paris influence it at all?
I I think it's more so now that I'm able to enjoy Paris a lot more. That it's, you know, it is the city of artists, the city of light, and just learning more about the history of Paris. You know, actually, history is like one of my least. You know, I'm terrible. I read a book and the words and the years go out of my mind very quickly. But you know, learning about all the great artists that were here and the magical times that happened in Paris, it's definitely seeping in as well. And you know, uncovering the amazing artists that are working here today. You know, like you guys and the network of people. So I'm really looking forward to being influenced more by who I meet in Paris.
I love it. And can you talk a little bit about your process of how you get started on a painting and how you learn to paint? I mean, did you read a book? You didn't know how to do this before.
It's been quite, I mean, a lot of people call like intuitive painting. I mean, I did and do a lot of like more normal, normal painting, you know, painting flowers, drawing things. But what struck me for abstract art for me, it's really about letting go. And it's kind of, again, it's sort of a bit silly to say, you know, you're not drawing the apple, you're drawing the feeling of the apple. But it's very true. So you don't have to think about the shading and the shapes. It's really, for me, it's the connection between the implement, the paper, and the colours. So it's those three things together. So although I hope, you know, people enjoy what the end product is, actually it's the doing of it that is more important to me. That's why, you know, it's really that person. So I'm really spending time thinking about that person and thinking about that group of people that are influencing how I hold the brush, what color palette I'm using, and then how it feels at the time as well. And it's really about letting go, which is quite difficult actually. You know, after, you know, normally you want a particular curve or a particular thing, where this is about what I feel inside versus what I'm feeling outside in terms of the paintbrush and the paper.
I totally agree. Obviously, how does the apple feel?
I know. I mean, it's and you read all these things and you think, oh yeah, that's how the apple is. But it's really true. It's really true, and you can't force it. And like I said, I tried to do some art during the lockdown, and it just, you know, you have to work through these things as all artists do. You've got to have a studio practice, but genuinely, I feel, in particular for arte art, it's really about the flow of it. And my process, I tend to do a few pieces at the same time, and because with each brush stroke, you can kind of manipulate more, and you get the feeling of what's happening with the paint and the brush. So I tend to do quite a few at the same time.
So you can play basically.
Yeah, it's basically playing.
And would you compare it to meditation in a way? You said you're like really...
I guess, I mean, I'm not great, you know, I'm not a yogi, I'm not into I don't do meditation, but I think perhaps this is my meditation. You know, you're right actually, and when I think about it, I think perhaps it's definitely relaxing, and I know a lot of people find doing art relaxing because you're really focusing on something. But I guess why I was so drawn to abstract was because it was the first time that it wasn't about the end product, it was really about the process of getting to the end, and actually the end product doesn't matter so much, to me anyway. It's everything that went into it.
It's the journey.
Yeah, it's the journey for sure.
The journey of painting. And where can people find your artwork? Can they ask you to paint something for them, or do you create, you know, what you want to create and then they can purchase it?
Yes, this is really interesting. So I mean, it's like I mentioned, arte is about it started as my connections to these women that really supported me when I was ill, and then I really wanted other people to be able to do that through art. So you know, each series is named after a certain the muse, but I've also started doing series where it's around a group of people. So for example, my latest series, Energy, is a series based on all the people that when I meet them, they just instantly give me energy. You know, there's people in your life when you hang out with them, you just feel energized after you see them. So I did a series on that, and I plan to do other things around that. So there's definitely people that I love, because when I'm with them, they just calm me down. You know, they ground me. And with the series actually, I painted them in pairs, especially with the idea that I really love the idea of perhaps two friends buying it, so they each have one of the pairs in their homes, and it's a way of connecting their homes. And especially these days, we're not seeing our friends as much, and so I really want to be able to do more of these sibling pairs and encourage people to buy art together. That's a really big thing that I want to do. So
I hope this idea, so people can buy the same artwork and have it in their homes.
Yeah.
But like a variation of the same artwork.
Exactly. So I paint them as I call them sibling pairs. It's a sibling series. They're like the sisters in the series, but within this series, they're painted in pairs. So yeah, for example, I've got someone that she's bought the pair that she's going to gift to her friend, and one friend's in New Zealand and one friend she's here. So yeah, it's just really nice to be able to connect.
It's like a friendship necklace.
Yes, I felt like it was like like a BFF bracelet, but kind of more chic.
Much more chic,
Yeah.
and it's coming from Paris, which automatically makes it more chic.
Exactly. So yeah, I really want to do a lot more of those, and then I've got prints. So the other way that I really want to help people connect to each other through art is my message prints. So it's a way that you basically can buy a print, but there's a space for you to write your unique message, so that they can put it on their wall and always remember your message.
I love it. And what place in Paris gives you life creative-wise? Is there any place that you're just absorbing the energy, or any museums that you're like, you should go here if you want to absorb some creative energy?
For me, I guess, from my photography background, it is the classic, the light of Paris is just beautiful. Especially coming from Singapore after 8 years in the tropics, 2 degrees above the equator, it's the sunset lasts about 7 seconds. And so coming to Paris and just being able to enjoy those beautiful long shadows and the light around it is just wonderful. And there's something about the Paris greys and pinks that you see that's incredible to me. And I still feel like a bit of a tourist here. So I've only recently done all the big museums, and I think it's just discovering, and like a lot of people like walking along the cobbled streets. And actually at the moment it's different, because there's not so many tourists. All the tourist spots I'm actually really enjoying and really appreciating. I did a lot of different series at the beginning of Arte, and because the originals are actually so special to me, I don't think I could sell them. But like I mentioned, I really wanted this art to connect people, so I've made them into prints. So for example, this is Series C and Series NW. And actually I did paint them both when I was on holiday in Portugal, so I feel like there is a little bit of that sea element in there. I feel like really like the fresh colours. And then for the muses themselves, they're similar in some ways actually. They're very strong women, they're very intelligent, and they have strong views on things, and they're really inspiring in that way, but at the same time they're a little bit crazy.
Those are my favorite type of
so
women.
it's just, they're so inspiring because you don't have to be one way. Like they're strong mothers, they're great at their jobs, their career, but they're also super fun. They tell you how it is, and I just love that. And I wanted that to be, the types of brush strokes, the freedom, especially with Series C. There's definitely a lot of movement, because for me, there's always this feeling of moving forward with it in that particular series, and I think that really connects. That connection I have with her is very much like that. There's always this feeling of moving forward, making ourselves better in that sort of sense. And then the Series NW, I described it as one of the things is, she dances all night long, because she really does. And yeah, the colours are just so vibrant. It had to be the most vibrant colours that I had in my palette on her, for sure. And so I really love NW, and actually she's a bestseller, yeah. And I think it's because it's just so vibrant, and I really love that series. I love all the series though, for all different reasons, but yeah, in particular these two, there's a lot of movement and a vibrancy.
Beautiful. And can you show them to the camera?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like this one? Which series is that?
So this is series NW, and this is the message print version. And so you can choose. On one side you've got this one's "You Are So Loved," and then you can write your message inside, and then they can hang it on the wall so they always remember your beautiful message.
That's really pretty. I like that. I like that it's like really good cardstock too.
Yeah, so that for me it was definitely it had to be more than a greeting card. Yeah, for sure. And so when I was trying to, so many prototypes, kind of like I tried to do some stuff that would be like a greeting card, but for me it's not about a greeting card with a nice front. It had to be a print with the message, if that makes sense. So it was like I had to get the right stuff.
Yeah, definitely. No, those are beautiful.